Knicks, oof. Just when you thought you saw their worst performance, this one might have trumped it all. Knicks get washed in LA 128 to 107. I don't know if it was a Fortnite marathon that they had going on last night or stuffed on In-N-Out Burger or skateboarding at Venice Beach, but they just didn't come to play, man. So we're going to break it all down for you. CP from the Knicks Fan TV. My man Alex Wolf, after a long hiatus, returns to the Sunday tilt. Al, what's good, bro? Where you been, man? How's everything going, Al? What's going on, man?
I've been good, There hasn't been that many Sunday games, at least not ones I can make it to, you know what I'm saying?
Like, right, and this is probably the worst one to bring you back on, but glad to have you back either way, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's all fun, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least talking about it afterwards is fun. Watching it wasn't so much fun.
Watching it was not so fun, man. I mean, we had a few days off to go out to the West Coast, get that West Coast breeze, and I mean, these guys just came out like they were still on vacation, man. The Clippers came out led by the Landry Shamet show. Not Landry Fields, his long-lost brother. Landry Shamet came in and destroyed us. Clippers overall went 19 three-pointers made, I believe. I mean, what did you see out there, man, if you saw anything?
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, it was Shamet going off at first with all those 3-pointers. He had 6 in the first quarter, 7 in the first half. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even prepare for that, man. For someone being that hot. But on top of that, I mean, the Knicks they weren't playing defense.
Yeah,
like, really looked engaged. Other than Mitch Robinson, like the only guy who consistently looks engaged. Trier put an okay game forward, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't even really put that much thought into the box score for this one yet because I just feel like it's all insignificant by and large.
Basically,
But Trier kind of did his thing again. He had 16 points, 5 of 7 shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got to have a pretty solid streak now going of 10 to 15 plus points with under 10 shots now for a while, which, I mean, that's pretty solid.
His shooting percentage has been really good, man.
Yeah,
really
solid,
good.
Like really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, yeah, it was a crap game, dude. Like Vonleh, my other thing was Vonleh played well for the second time in 2 games. So I guess that's a plus.
That's a plus. That's a plus because we had the APB out on Vonleh for quite a few weeks now, but he bounced back in the last game against Cleveland and had a pretty made a good showing in the second half as well in this game to kind of make the game respectable. I mean, we were damn near down by 40 at some point, but to your point, I think Mitch is continuing to bring it. If we want to look for any type of silver linings, as we always do in most of these games, Mitch continues to bring it. Today he finished with 16 points, 14 boards, and 4 block shots, man. I mean, this is one of the few bright spots that makes this season even worthwhile watching in the second half, man. It's Mitch.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitch is like the only reason to watch the Knicks right now. Like, if we're being straight, like, he's the only consistent reason. That's what I should say. He's obviously other guys show out different nights, but
Facts.
Mitch is like the only guy that you're tuning in every single night to see right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had some pretty fantastic moments. Like him
and Montrell were going at it, man. They were going toe to toe.
And he ate Trez's lunch a couple times too. Like especially Trez tried to drive on him a couple times and he blocked him.
Yeah, threw him
pretty nice.
Couple times, man.
And Mitch, he had another double-double, which is good. He's still not really that bulky yet, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, guys don't typically add bulk throughout the season. If anything, they lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's gotten any bigger, like, muscular-wise this season, but he's getting better positioning, and he's really finding a way to kind of worm his way in there, like Dennis Rodman-esque, you know what I'm saying? Get his way in there and just find the positioning for the rebounds. So
Facts.
He's doing well.
What I like about Mitch, I mean, outside of his play is has been exceptional. I think he's averaging in the month of February. He averaged 11 points, 8 boards, 3 block shots. Rebounding numbers are going up. Block shots are going up. But you could just see his mentality. He's just maturing so fast. You could see him trying to lead out there. I don't know if it's the DeAndre Jordan effect or what it is, but we saw him in the gym late nights, putting in late nights, early morning workouts in the gym. He's real focused, man, for his age and not having had that experience at the pro level. You could see he's really taking it serious, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on Locked On Knicks recently. Shout out Locked On Knicks.
Yep. Listen
to the podcast. But I mentioned this recently. I think that Mitch seems to do well with good mentors. You know what I mean? Like if he has, you saw earlier in the season, Rasheed Wallace showed up for one practice, and Mitch had one of his best games at that point. Immediately after that, and then now DeAndre Jordan shows up, and he's had a few weeks of DeAndre Jordan mentoring him, and all of a sudden now he's playing well, to a level that we didn't think was possible before. And looking very DeAndre Jordan-esque, sometimes, but even better if we're being totally honest. Like, DeAndre Jordan in his rookie season never showed like what Mitch is showing right now.
Tremendous upside, man. They brought in Marcus Camby last week to talk to him, who also mentored DeAndre Jordan. So, and he seems to be accepting it. He's not coming in with a chip on the shoulder. He seems to be soaking it all in. So, like I said, man, one of the few bright spots in the second half as we wind out the season. I'm curious to see as the season progresses and as we move on with Mitch. Hopefully, we move on with Mitch. That's another story. But curious to see if he kind of steps out the paint a little bit, tries to develop a little bit of a little mid-range, a little jump hook or something. Did you see the shot chart that they put up on MSG today?
Yeah, where he has literally every single shot that he's taken this year is in the paint. And mostly in the restricted area. And then he had one shot just outside of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I've seen like the empty gym, videos of him shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he's got good form, but it's a pretty compact release. And it's close to his body, you know what I mean? Like, not that I can demonstrate that well on this, but it's
right.
It's coming from here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's not shooting from up here.
Mm-hmm.
So that worries me a little bit about him trying to get that off in game right now, because to be a guy at his height facing guys, that are at least as tall as him. I mean, if you're shooting from around your face, like you definitely have more of a chance of getting blocked, or not getting that shot off with enough room than if you're above your head. So we'll see over time.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him at least attempt like 2 or 3 3-pointers.
Yeah, why not? Why not, man?
Why not? Yeah, what do you have to lose? I mean, you're losing today's game by like 22 points or whatever, and at times you're down by like 40. So like, what's
Facts.
the point of at least give him one shot at a pick and pop one time, just you can get it off in game. But yeah, I think like I think actually if he would start busting that out now, he would at first see a ton of room right away because nobody would expect it. Nobody would even think that he could shoot it. But if he started making a couple, I'd start to worry a little bit about that release, with where he releases the ball from. But that's like, I'm thinking way too far into the future with him right now.
Hey, listen, it's good to think about, because that means he's showing a lot of potential, man. He's showing a lot of potential, so that's good. One of the things that wasn't so good, perimeter defense. The point guard play left a lot to be desired. Dennis Smith Jr. didn't have so great of a game. I mean, what's your overall take on DSJ in tonight's game and kind of going forward?
Yeah, I mean, not a single guy on the Knicks could really defend the perimeter today. Yeah. So I'm not going to put that all on him. It kind of just they all just felt sleepy today.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those, and Fizdale talked about it a little bit after the game that like this is a trend now. This isn't just like a once or twice thing. It's like anytime they have one of these afternoon starts, they've struggled this year.
Mm-hmm.
And to what you mentioned before, you're kind of joking, but it might be the real case. These kids playing too many video games and stuff.
These guys are in the suite going Fortnite dancing and whatever.
Fortnite and everything.
Whatever the hell that is, man. I can't get with it, man. I'm old.
But I don't know. I mean, Smith, like I got to be honest, like I barely even have an opinion on what Smith did because I feel like I just kind of stopped paying attention to him after a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just because he was thoroughly unremarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the same could be said for Moutier. I didn't find Moutier to be particularly great to watch today either.
Yeah.
He wound up with 16 points, but I mean, just the defense was just atrocious, and the reality of the matter is that you can't you can't go out there and like shoot like Moutier shot 40% today. Like you have to shoot a hell of a lot better than that if you're gonna not play defense. And the same goes for Smith. You know, Smith shot 27% today. You
3
can't go
for
out there
11. Oof. 3 for 11 for DSJ. 8 points, 6 dimes, only 1 turnover. Oof. Building a brick house, man.
I mean, good for him for still not turning the ball over much, you know, and 6 assists. Like, I have noticed he's very good at, like, very quietly accruing, like, 5+ assists every game now,
since the Dallas trade, he's been on the uptick.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, his assist numbers have looked great. His jumper just is looking real ugly.
Looking real ugly, man. And that's one of the things I think you want to see from him as the season progresses. And if he's here going forward is if he can get some sort of efficiency with his jumper. You know, that was always a knock with him. And it's been up and down since he's come. But on the flip side, the assist numbers definitely look good. Kevin Knox, not shooting the ball so well as of late. He seems to be on the downtrend since that Rookie of the Month in December. You know, what do you attribute that to?
Dude, I'm like beyond.
Yeah, I mean he's a rookie, right? We'll preface that before we get killed in the trap. We know he's a rookie, but you know
he's a rookie. He's hashtag only 19.
Yeah, only 19. Don't forget it.
So, and I'm not forgetting that, but you know he's really playing bad lately.
Yeah,
you know you can't sugarcoat it. You know it's like if you're gonna give him the big ups for having his good months and showing the flashes of what good Knox could be.
It's true.
You got to acknowledge the flashes right now of like this is the worst of what Knox could be. It's looking real shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, his shot selection has been terrible. There was one shot in particular today that really like got under my skin. It was he brought the ball up. I think it was in transition or no, you know, it was like a fresh half court set.
Mm-hmm.
He got the ball handed off to him around like the elbow 3-point range, and he took a pick and like actually created a little bit of space, and then instead of like driving towards the rim or looking for someone to pass to or like anything else that he could have done, he pulls up from like 6 inches inside the 3-point line.
Yep, and I saw you guys posted that. Yep,
I did. I took that video right then and there because I was like, this is awful. Like this is exactly what you don't want to see from a kid who's like struggling, has been shooting like 30% for the last like what is it, like 19 games or something?
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible, you know, and today didn't do anything to you know, like ease those fears in me as far as, you know, him playing so badly lately. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to like I don't want to crap on him too much because, you know, like he's young and everything, but I feel like this coaching staff really needs to like I think that they need to get in his ear and sort of change his mentality. Like I think that he's been going into these games thinking I need to be a scorer. This team needs me to score to win.
Right.
So I'm going to score.
And you rein him in a little bit.
Yeah, they need to like change his mindset from like, hey, I have to be a scorer to like, hey, I just need to make winning plays, you know, and I need to like find my spots and maybe like try to get myself going with some open looks, you know, try to use some screens on the outside.
Basket a little bit.
Yeah, drive to the basket and not just pull it for the floater, you know, maybe start taking some contact. You know, it should almost be one of those things like when you play like in high school or whatever, when you gives you certain goals before the game, you know, like, hey, I need you to go out there and I need to see you, you know, get into contact at least 3 times in the paint today. Like that's all I'm asking. And then they go over it with him on film later, you know, whatever, show him what's good, show him what's not, and then work on it from there. But like he needs to start adding some new wrinkles to his game because clearly like he's figured out right now. Like he's not surprising anybody with what he's doing right now.
He's certainly slumping, man. But we talked on it. We went on a podcast this morning with Jonathan Macri from Knicks Film School and talked about that a bit more, myself and Jay Ellis and Macri. So that was a good one. ISO, well, we talked about ISO. I think ISO seems like he's bouncing back. He kind of knocked off the criticism that he had hit a wall and just said, you know, he's just trying to figure it out and put it all together. He is currently, what's ISO's numbers? In the last 6 games, before this game, coming into this game, 15.7 points per game, 55% from the field and 50% beyond the line. It's good numbers for ISO, man.
Yeah, and I mean his season numbers are like really high now too. I mean he's got his season numbers up to 10.5 points per game, 46% from the field, 60% from three and 84% from the free throw line. I mean, he's bounced back in a big way from earlier in the season, like you just alluded to when everybody was talking about, he might have hit the rookie wall or he needed to add more to his game or whatever. And you know what, they talked about it. They talked about, I think in the pregame on MSG today about how he's starting to use his left now.
Yeah,
a little more,
definitely. Very evident.
I just think he's been more decisive lately. I almost wonder if like playing with Kadeem Allen helped him a little bit, because a lot of the ways that he's been making his decisions on the floor lately have been kind of like a more improved version of Kadeem Allen. He was out there. It's like, don't let the ball sit in your hands for too long.
Right.
Like, figure out something to do. Either drive to the hoop or take a shot or find somebody to pass the ball to, but like don't just stand there and dribble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Much more intentional with his approach. I definitely noticed that as well. Much more intentional and patient. Not trying to force the issue too much. Just kind of letting the game come to him. And that's what he said. That's what he said in the last post game. So silver linings, man. We're always looking for silver linings, Al. You know what I mean? On this 13-50 campaign. There's not much to say.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we already covered all the silver lines.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all we got, right?
So, with that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat on this Sunday night. Shout out to the Knicks Nation chat, #1 post-game show on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell if you're a diehard Knicks fan. This is the home of the diehard Knicks fan, where we talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and post-game live discussions after every game featuring live callers. First call of the night is going to go to, we're going to North Dakota, Al. We're going to Fargo, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Marshall called before, man. Marshall, what's going on, bro? Yep. Oh, man, Marshall completely ruined his introduction, man. Marshall, you still there?
Yep.
I don't know what happened to Marshall. He wasn't ready for his introduction, man. I tried to throw him the alley. I don't know. He got frostbite or something. Let's see.
Gotta take some lessons from Mitch,
Yeah. Yo, Marshall, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good, man. I might be having a little issues with the phones, but go ahead. How's everything?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro.
Oh. All right, perfect.
All right.
So I was listening to you guys' Sunday morning podcast about Kevin Knox and everything. So this is just my opinion and just my thoughts about it. We're in essence, we're basically getting Kevin Knox's freshman, sophomore, junior years of college right now. I think he just came into the league way too early. He should have stayed in Kentucky and developed more and got a little bit more out of his college experience, as far as shooting, defense, and his overall motor and everything like that. That's just my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you could say that about a lot of one and done
players. The NBA is kind of weird, like the whole. What's that?
I said you could definitely argue that with a lot of these one and done players. You could argue that a lot of these guys might need a little bit more seasoning at the college level. That's fair.
Right. And so I don't know if the Knicks are bringing in people just like they did with Mitch to mentor and give them some more, guidance and things of that nature. Has the Knicks ever thought about sending possibly Kevin Knox down to the G League, the farm system, letting him develop more, then bringing him back? I don't know if that's going to be a big thing or not, but I just don't see them putting the investment like they are in Mitch, you know what I mean? With all the mentors and, putting them around Marcus Camby and all those other guys.
Well, they brought in Bernard. They gave him Bernard King.
Okay.
What do you think, Al?
Specifically, if you recall, Fizdale specifically arranged for him to meet with Kevin Durant and with LeBron James too, if I recall.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be working out with Paul George as well in the off season. So,
So I mean, I'm still optimistic about Knox. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and in essence, we were getting like the early years of Knox, where I think here within the next 1-2 years, we're going to see a better version of him. So I'm gonna hold off all opinions until then, and then make a solid choice when he gets a little bit more seasoned. And then Mitch, himself, he's just going to become a star himself, just like kind of Kevin, what is his name? Timberwolves, Garnett. You know what I mean? Garnett came out of high school. He was just one of those phenoms that just kind of took the NBA by storm, So I think in a few years, we're going to get our own version of Kevin Garnett in New York. You know what I mean?
I wish if he could be half the
my
player.
Opinion. That's how I see it.
All right. Appreciate it, Marshall. Hold it down over there in North Dakota, man.
Man.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, man.
All right, you guys take it easy.
Later. Yeah, man. That's my guy Marshall from North Dakota, man. We're worldwide out here, Alex. We're worldwide, man.
Marshall is shooting for the stars, man.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, man.
Yeah.
KG. If Mitch ever turned into KG, he's got a long way to go, but that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be a nice guy for Mitch to get mentored by, but I also don't like Kevin Garnett very much.
Yeah, he's an enemy of the state. He's an enemy of the state. We never got over that Honey Nut Cheerios comment.
Nah, no Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He turned Mitch into like a super trash talker and make him very unlikable to everybody else around the league. I like Mitch as kind of like this little like meek dude who's just like chilling and like enjoying life right now.
Yeah, he'll still put you on your ass though. Don't sleep on Mitch, man.
Mitch no doubt. Like, I'm not saying meek like on the court, you know what I'm saying, but like his personality, like his interviews. And stuff.
Yeah. Very mild mannered for right now. That's good.
I like his like 3-word answers, to Rebecca Harlow and stuff like that. Like he just seems like he's still kind of like just living in the moment kind of thing.
He's still living in the moment, man.
Still innocent. He hasn't lost his innocence yet.
Yeah, man. Shout out everybody in the chat on this Sunday night. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. If you're still a Knicks fan after 13-50, you deserve some credit. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Shout out 730 Terrorista, Ricardo Custer, what's going on? Craig Williams, who I see whose Mark is in here. What up, Mark? Chris, what's going on? Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's go back to the phones. Let's see who we got here. Let's go to Jersey. Jamal from Jersey wants to talk about Kevin Knox and Mitch. Jamal, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Chill, man. Doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. Real quick, great show earlier today with the Knicks wall thing. I enjoyed it. But
with Macri, yeah, appreciate it, man.
No problem. I want to talk about Kevin Knox. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but I'm really not worried about him.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Personally, I'm not worried. I'm just pointing out the observation. You can't. It's hard to miss that he's building a brick house out there. But I'm still patient for sure.
I think physically he needs to get stronger, which he will. Mm-hmm. I think he definitely suffering from sporadic to bad point guard play. Like he's not getting no help in those regards in that department. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the better games that he played this year, he's been active on the boards. Even like 2 or 3 games ago, Fizz had him bringing the ball up the court, was running some high action where he just controlling and touching the ball more. He goes a long stretch without being involved or waiting in the corners. I think he got to find out more lineups where Kevin Knox could be more active and not out there with ISO Zoe and 3 trillion guards that ain't doing nothing much or doing nothing to help anybody else get better out there.
Yeah. And Al, I think that could be part of the motor issue too that people talk about, man. Maybe like he's the type of player where like you have to, get the ball in his hands or some sort of, movement out there, or else he kind of shies away.
Yeah, I think that the rest of Knox's game follows his offense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that if he's not on offense, everything else suffers, because that's just kind of how the game works for him, I guess. And if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like if he starts off and he's 0 for 3 or whatever, then his first priority is getting his offense right. And then from there, everything else falls into place. So I think that's just kind of the issue with him right now. But I mean, to the point, like I'm not like worried about him yet. There's things that are concerning. And certainly when you have a stretch now of like 20 games, and even like in the middle of it, there was the All-Star break, which you thought would rejuvenate him, and he came back and he's kind of just still in the same spot. Mm-hmm. It's a little concerning. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he needs to maybe point guard play is part of it. I don't know necessarily. Like, I think some of the issues with what he's doing is that sometimes he looks for his own shot when he should be just kind of like pushing the ball around the perimeter and stuff like that. Like sometimes the ball hits him and he decides that he has to take the shot. And more power to him, because like ideally you want him to become a scorer that can do stuff like that. But right now with how he's been playing, I think he just needs to look to like facilitate the offense more so than facilitate his own offense.
To get into that rhythm. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So, but it's a light criticism of him. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like,
Yeah, no, we're not ragging on him by any means.
We're not trying to do that.
Yeah, we're not ragging. We're just pointing out the obvious.
No, I understand.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand.
All right, Jamal,
I guarantee if you look at. All right, take it easy, fellas.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You can finish your point. I didn't know if you were done.
Oh, I was just about to say, if you look at the amount of easy buckets that he's got this year due to like other players or assists or point guard player, I would guarantee it's very minimal. His problem is he's trying to create everything on his own every time he get involved. And to me, that's because of lack of offensive creativity and point guard play.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and part of it too is he has to kind of embrace off-ball movement more as well. I think embrace like cutting and using off-ball screens and things of that nature too. And then I think the Knicks have some point guards that can find him in those sort of looks. Like Dennis Smith, I think has shown the ability to do that. Trier to some degree, sometimes has shown that ability. And more importantly, and I mean, I know people have mixed opinions about him, but the best guy for finding people like looks within the offense, within the set plays is Frank Ntilikina, I think. And I think maybe you might see some more stuff for Knox if he starts embracing off-ball movement with a guy like Frank out there. He'd probably find the ball in some good spots.
A player who they say is a more confident Frank Ntilikina, man, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. He's turning up on us, bro. He's been playing well. He's been playing well, man.
Yeah, SJ had a good game. I was pretty impressed with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty impressed with a bunch of guys on the Clippers, obviously. Like, when you route a team like that, number of guys.
I think Montrezl Harrell definitely stepped his game up. He definitely stepped his game up.
Harrell had like such a weird up and down game because he would go from getting like totally annihilated by Mitch to throwing down a hammer dunk or whatever. It just seemed like every time he would like have something happen. Yeah, like it was just like just like yin and yang, like tit for tat. You know what I mean? Like he was just like get owned, and then like next possession throw down a huge dunk.
Yeah,
it was crazy. It was kind of an interesting game for him. He's a good player.
Montrez, he stepped up. Danilo, always got love for Danilo, man. He never said too much.
Yeah, I like Gallinari. I'm happy that he's kind of found his place in the league because. I mean, damn! Like he had 20 points in 23 minutes today.
Yeah,
and it was funny. I saw, I was following like on the PNT Twitter. I was, looking around the timeline or whatever, and the Clippers blog at one point was like, "Oh, Gallinari just let the ball stick to his hands. He stopped the ball moving." I'm like, "Shut up, man! Of all the things to complain about today, you guys have nothing to complain about."
Up by 40, like what more do you want, man?
Yeah, and Gallinari, I mean, he played a good game today.
Yeah,
he had a couple moments where he maybe held it a little too long or whatever, but he had a good game. I thought he had a really solid game.
I mean, Danilo definitely had a good game, man. We'll see what the chat has to say. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Hit that subscribe button as well. Share these videos, man. If you know any other Knicks fans that haven't seen this show, haven't called in, haven't joined the chat, definitely share this with your fellow Knicks fans. Lee Jones is not a Knox fan. He says he's trash. Let's see. Who's Mark says his college motor was terrible. So Who's Mark thinks that's the issue. The shooter says he's tired. Lee Jones says don't make excuses for him. No, I'm not making excuses for him.
I think the he's tired part is really, I mean, if I was going to pick out one thing that I think is the biggest reason, I think it's that he's like, I don't want to say he's frail, like, cause he's not like super, he doesn't look like Tayshaun Prince used to look or something, you know what I mean? But he's definitely on the thinner side, and he's not very bulky. And I think that at this point he's now like double the amount of games he's probably ever played.
Yeah.
in his whole life.
And a lot of minutes too, man.
Yeah, a ton of minutes. You know, he was playing that stretch where he was playing like damn near 40 minutes a game for like over a month. So and luckily I've seen Fizz kind of scaling his minutes back a little bit lately into the 20s again. So I think he's tired. I think that's honestly probably one of the biggest things is he's tired.
Maybe they upped it so much to try to get his stamina up, you know, knowing that the motor was an issue.
Yeah. Well, knowing how Fizz operates, I think that is probably why they did it. But I you know, there's a point where you can push it too far, and you know, then you take him from, you know, trying to get his conditioning up to just tiring him out, you know, and maybe even tiring him out to the point that like he can't get himself right unless he sits a couple games or something. But you know, like I said, there was even the All-Star break, and he still seems really like he doesn't have a lot of lift, and he doesn't have a lot. Yeah, he seems gassed.
We'll see what happens, man. Let's go to Harlem World. Alonzo from Harlem wants to talk about the squad in general. Alonzo, how you feeling, bro?
Yo, what's good, family? What's going on with you, man?
Yo, what's good, man? Long time, my dude. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm loving the way you popping now, man. You got it going, man.
Appreciate you,
Day one to now, man. It's like a metamorphosis, man. Your channel is blowing, man. I'm loving it, man.
Appreciate it, my dude. Appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna say a little. I'm gonna mention one name, and this is gonna be my defense with Kevin Knox. I'm gonna mention one name, DeAndre Jordan. If people we was already raving about Money Mitch when we got him during the summer league and everything. But if you look at how his game has totally launched crazy because of the addition of DeAndre Jordan, him having a veteran that can explain to him where to be, how to time block shots. Because in the beginning of the year, he wasn't getting those blocks because he was landing into people's zone and it was falling on him. Now he's getting those blocks and dominating the way he's dominating because of DeAndre Jordan. Kevin Knox doesn't have that. He doesn't have that type of veteran there to teach him how to get to open spots.
What you mean, man? He's got Lance Thomas, man. Lance could teach us some things, man. Lance could get him in his spots, man. You have confidence in Lance,
well,
Lonzo?
I mean, what I'm saying is, you kind of low. I can barely hear you. Come back.
No, I said you don't have confidence in Lance, bro.
Come on, man. No. I don't have confidence in Lance. Lance averages 2 points a game his whole career. So no, I have zero confidence in Lance Thomas to do anything, teach anybody anything offensively. He's a Swiss Army knife without a couple pieces. So he doesn't have that. DeAndre Jordan was an all-star. You know, he was considered one of the best centers in the league at one time. So, I mean, he knows how to really play, how to affect the game in that way. And if you look at it, Money Mitch is not like shooting jump shots and, you know, scoring outside the paint and everything. He's playing the exact same way DeAndre Jordan plays.
Yeah.
So if Kevin Knox is going to play the exact same way that Lance plays, if he teaches how to play like him, you're really going to be disappointed.
Nah, I hear you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Then you're going to be talking, oh, he's a bust. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, he doesn't have that veteran guy that guy that can show him how to get in certain spots to score or do this and do that. And the other caller made perfect sense. He hasn't had consistent point guard play all season long. And I love Dennis Smith Jr., but he's not a pure point. So you don't have consistent point guard play all year long. You don't have the veteran there to teach you what spots to get to, where to shoot from, how to get there. You know what I'm saying? Or how to get separation. You don't have none of that, and he's still a 19-year-old kid. So he's basically learning with some coaching on his own. And that's not a recipe for success.
It's possible. Appreciate the call, Alonzo. Al, who do you want to mentor, man? You want to bring Melo back? What's Melo doing?
I think I made a point on Locked On Knicks about recently that I'd be cool with Melo, like mentoring Knox a little bit in the offseason. I don't know if I necessarily need him on this team.
I don't think I need him on a roster.
Yeah, there's some stuff that Knox could learn from a guy like Melo.
Yeah.
Or it's, obviously a guy like Durant. That's the guy. Look, if we're talking about the guys that I really want to mentor Knox, get Kevin Durant, man. Like, get him on this team because that's about the best mentor you could possibly have for a guy of Knox's stature.
Yeah.
And position and whatever. But there's plenty of guys that Knox could get mentorship from. And it's a good point that really there's no other like small forwards on the team. It's like Knox, and then it's Lance, and Lance is even
Mario. You want him to learn from Mario?
I guess Mario, but even like Mario and Lance have been used as small ball fours all year.
Yeah,
because they can't really hang as threes anymore.
True.
So I guess like Knox really doesn't have a great veteran presence that plays the way that he does to teach him how to play better as the way that he does. But I don't know. My whole thing with the point guard play is like, you could say the point guard play is lacking a little bit, but like guys like Jordan and like Mitch and, to a lesser degree, like Vonleh, even like some other like 3-point, I don't even want to call them specialists because we don't have any actual specialists on this team, but like Jenkins or Ellenson or Cornette or whatever. I mean, those guys find looks somehow. It's just because they have a certain role and they play it, and you got to kind of hit it from the basic angles first. And I don't know if Knox really plays anything at that basic level. He's always trying to do the more advanced stuff and the the solo scoring and that sort of thing. So,
well, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't think there's any wrong hypothesis here with what's going on with Kevin Knox. I think, some people say motor. I see people in the chat saying motors. Others say, could be point guard play. We'll see. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Raw Hebrew Remnant joins us. He wants to talk about the overall development of the team. What's going on, bro?
What's up, fellas? I did hear the audio with Macri today. That was awesome, man. I'm glad for you and Jay Ellis. You guys blowing up. I knew you guys were going to bubble. I'm glad to see it, man.
Appreciate it, man. You've been supporting since day one, man. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. I'm always here, man, because you all are real for real on the Knicks tip, and I that's like for good or for bad. You there, and I've been there from like I said, I was a Knicks fan from the first, not the first championship, the second championship. I was been a Knicks fan. I was like 11 years old at that time.
Okay.
And I've been a Knicks. The only time I left was when they let Clyde go to Cleveland. I was so mad. I became a Boston fan for a little bit, but then when Boston drafted, they traded JoJo White, and I went back to the Knicks. And at that time, also, the Knicks got Bernard King from Golden State, and I was all in. And I was like back, and I wasn't leaving after that. But I've been through hell and high water with this team, and I have to say I am very, very excited about our team. I know the record's bad, and I know a lot of the younger cats don't remember all of these things. But I mean, Mitch is a game changer, man. I mean, this dude. I mean, he's really going to be the deal. And I hope they don't trade him for AD.
Yeah,
I'm not saying AD, 25 years old, top 5 player. I get it. But this is a guy we drafted that's our guy. And to have a guy come through our system like that is a change. That's very rare in Knicks land. That's very rare. So that's number one. Number two, I'm excited to see him with Frank because Frank is our best perimeter defender. Say what you want about his offense. I believe his offense will come in time. People are just too impatient in New York. But if you let this kid, right now he's our best perimeter defender. If you give him and Mitch some time together with both of them healthy and they get to run a little bit for like 10 games, I think you're going to see something with just them two. Also, one more thing with regard to Knox. Y'all need to chill a little bit, man. I was looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo's stats. He came in 2013. His first year, he played 25 minutes a game, averaged 7 points a game. Okay, this is his first year. His second year, he played 31 minutes a game and averaged about 12. And this is about what Knox is doing now. Knox, you can look at him. He's a very gangly teenager. He's not even completely coordinated yet. And the way these guys are drafted today as 18 and 19-year-olds, if you notice, like, look at D'Angelo Russell. all of a sudden his fourth year, because this is when he would, in the past, he would normally be coming into the league. Now he's blowing up. Mm-hmm. You got to give Kevin Knox that time. I think I'm looking at him like a superstar in the making. We just got to be really patient and let him grow into his body and let him develop. I would just be treating him with kid gloves right now, like we were kind of treating Porzingis before he, shitted on us. But I'm just saying we should treat Knox like that, because going forward, we got a stud in this kid. I just want us to be patient with him, because don't worry about what he's doing now. I think he's going to be like next year. He's going to he'll be able to move off the ball. We'll have more players, and he'll up his points a little bit, maybe 15 a game. By that third year, you're going to be glad. We're going to be glad we got him, man. You're going to be glad we got him.
Okay. I appreciate the call, man. Good call, bro. So that's the OG, Al. To his point on Mitch and the AD trade, Al, we haven't spoken in a while, but what's your stance on it? In terms of what's going on in the summer.
I had I don't know, I thought it was going to be like a hot take a couple weeks ago about that, where I was like, I don't think if it came down to it and the Knicks would, if this dream scenario plays out and the Knicks get Zion Williamson, at the top pick in the draft, which obviously is no certainty, but, we're all hoping for it. And then, they get KD and Kyrie and, things are looking real good like that. I think I've reached the point with Mitch where, if it came down to it, I would not trade Mitch and Zion Williamson for AD.
Yeah.
But, just because Mitch, I think the biggest thing with him now is you see how much he's already doing already. Mm-hmm. He's not a ball-dominant player. So if you bring in two ball-dominant superstars, they're not going to affect him in the slightest in his production. And just, for the small amount of money that he makes, the $1.5 million, I mean, that's crazy. That's
a steal right there.
It's 1% of the salary cap.
Yeah.
1% of the salary cap. That's insane. And you have him for 3 more years at that price tag.
That's tremendous value, man.
It's crazy, yeah. So just his value on the court compared to his dollars, on the ledger sheet, it's a lot to pass up on. You know what I mean? That's a lot to give up on to send him to New Orleans. And on top of that, you're talking about in this dream hypothetical, you have Zion Williamson also, who looks like a generational talent at the top of the draft. You can't give up 2 guys like that. Even if you're getting Anthony Davis back, you gotta kind of hoard certain assets, and those 2 are 2 that you would definitely want to keep in that case, I think.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I mean, my stance has always been the same. I don't want to give up on Mitch. I don't want to see us mortgage the future once again for some win now, short-term satisfaction. Yes, a team of those 3 would be nasty. Don't get me wrong. It would bring MSG back. People would blow the roof off every single night. But look at the depth that these other teams are coming with. Look at what Philly's coming with. I'm pretty confident. I just feel like they're going to bring back that whole team next year, like Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Milwaukee's got that depth. Toronto now has that depth. If Kawhi Leonard stays, they have that depth. You just, dump the whole team and bring in Anthony Davis. What are you really left with? You know what I'm saying? That's my whole point. What are you really left with? And so, as much as I respect him as a top player in the game and how much he would elevate this team if that dream scenario came through, they're going to want Mitch. They're going to want Mitch. And I just don't want to see us bail on another homegrown talent again. I want to see it through with Mitch. What they say, that the last rookie that was on the second deal with this team was Charlie Ward? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's the true stat too, because
that's unreal.
You can't count Tim Hardaway that. Talking the Knicks, saw his whole rookie deal through and then signed to another contract. Yeah, it was Charlie Ward. It's been long.
I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see that. We had the front office eye, Spencer from Front Office Eye, on with us last Saturday. That was our first draft breakdown. And he broke down.
He told me to shout him out on here, so I'll say hi to Spencer.
All right, yeah, shout out Spencer. He did a good job. If you guys in the chat haven't seen our draft breakdown, check the menu at the top right-hand side of your screen. I always put all the latest videos, all the latest fan polls and stuff up there, so definitely check it out if you guys missed it. But shout out to Spencer. Al, have you been tuning in to the college scene? Or are you looking at other guys outside of the Zion phenomenon?
Yeah, it's tough. Like for me personally, I don't have like the amount of time to like dedicate the amount of time that I have to dedicate to the Knicks, and then also dedicate it to the college prospects.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Like I've watched some Duke. Like Zion's obviously crazy. RJ Barrett, like from what I've seen, definitely like has potential to be a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely some trouble signs there for me. Like I think he's a little too score first sometimes. One game in particular, and I mean I think it was game plan wise, but that first loss that they had to Gonzaga was really ugly from him. I watched a pretty good chunk of that one where, they gave him the ball like freaking like 7 straight possessions down the stretch of that game, and he couldn't convert one of them against college level guys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then like Reddish is worrisome because of all the shooting issues and all that. And Culver, I keep meaning to watch more of because I hear really good things about him. I know Spencer's really high on Culver.
He's high on him, yeah.
He's got him as like number 2 on his board, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Culver seems good to me. I mean, I love the percentages. I love the improvement that he's shown.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think who else. I don't know. I mean, Morant, I haven't really seen much outside of highlights.
Yeah.
I just keep hearing about like he's like a highlight machine.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, whatever. Like from what I understand, he's a pretty good player. He's leading the nation in assists, but he's also got a fairly high turnover number too, so that's a little worrisome. But
okay. Now, question for you and question for you guys in the chat. I had posed this yesterday when I posted. I did a snippet of Spencer's breakdown of the point guards. He actually likes Darius Garland better than John Morant. It's from an offensive standpoint. They also went to Vanderbilt, so there's a bit of homerism going on there, which we called him out on. But shout out Spencer. If it comes down to it, and we touch on, let's say we go 3 through 5. And the point guards are there, would you still draft the point guard? Or Spencer was saying consider trading down. What do you guys think, Alex, and what do you guys think in the chat? Would you go the point guard, go someone else, or consider trading down if we hit like 3 through 5?
I mean, I guess it depends on how high you are on the guys that are at the spot that you're at, right? So that's like the one thing. So let's say you're pick 3. I mean, then you figure probably Zion and let's say Barrett have gone already.
Right.
So then are you that high on Culver that you're like, okay, he's can't miss at 3? Or are you like, all right, if we trade down 3 spots or whatever to like 6 or something like that, like could we still get a player that we'd be just as happy with as like a Culver, or maybe even still get Culver, if other teams take Morant and Reddish and whoever else, you know what I mean? So it would probably require some info that I myself would not have. It would be info that like the Knicks front office would have, of like knowing what other teams are thinking about doing, what players other teams are high on, things of that nature, to decide how to proceed with that move. But I would definitely entertain trading down, like, because realistically, I think this is like, as far as top players in this draft, it's a 1-player draft. Like it's Zion and then everybody else. And then, like, once you get past that, then it's like, okay, how high are you on any particular other player? And it's just like, if you can trade down like 4 or 5 slots and either secure another pick in the same draft or secure a future pick, and just kind of add to that treasure trove that you got in the Porzingis trade, then maybe you do that. I think it would be a good move. And I think there's enough, like, there's not like so much distance between the 2 through maybe like 10 prospects in this draft that you can really be like, oh, like we're going to lose out on a huge talent by trading down 4 spots in this draft. Like I really think this is one of those drafts where there could be, the player drafted at 10 could do better than the player drafted at 2 potentially.
Right. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see what the chat says. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. A lot of people like RJ in the chat. T. Williams says no trade. He's not trading down. Chris, CR says trade down. 7:30, Teresa says trade down for DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, that was another one that Spencer had liked in that kind of second or third tier. Natty Solo says Morant over everybody. Easy Win says we won't need Ja because Kyrie is definitely coming. Natty Solo, give me Garland over DSJ, but he likes Morant over everybody. T. Williams draft Ja Morant. He's the best available player after Zion. So T. Williams is going best available player.
This is another thing I wonder. Like, I wonder if some of those teams, like let's say like the Suns win the lottery and they get number one. I wonder. I mean, you would think they wouldn't be able to turn down drafting Zion.
Zion, yeah.
They've been so desperate for a point guard for so long. I almost wonder if you could shoot them like, oh, we'll give you Dennis Smith and three pick. And they might be like, oh, well, we could take
you get Ja Morant at that spot.
Well, or not, like if you trade them Dennis Smith, then they're like, okay, we have Dennis Smith now, we have point guard, and we can still take, RJ or Culver or whatever, and that would be as good of a haul. Maybe they'd be stupid enough to do that. No,
I can't see. I mean, the Suns, it's amazing how terrible they are, but it also just goes to show you that a young team alone, just because you have the top prospects, it's not going to get it. It's not going to cut it. You still need that balance.
Yeah, when you need to scout well. And draft well and everything else. I mean, you look at like they got Ayton there putting up all kinds of numbers or whatever, double doubles and crap. Right. But they had Doncic at number one, and they literally hired Doncic's coach from the EuroLeague. Like I don't know what was going on in their brains last draft, but
facts.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they've got a scouting problem over there. They've had how many top 5 picks, and they've come away with what, like Dragan Bender. Marquise Chris.
Alex Len. How about that one?
Alex Len. Josh Jackson, who's playing a little better, but isn't really that good right now. They could have had so many other guys.
Right players, man. It's not an exact science. Not an exact science, man.
No,
let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dion from Park City. He wants to talk about Coach Fizz, and he wants to keep DSJ. Dion, how you feeling, man? What's your thoughts on this draft question that we just talked about?
As far as the draft process, I'm not even worried because we got Ninja P, like you call him, man.
That's Jay Ellis. Jay Ellis calls Scott Perry Ninja P.
Yo, for real, man, I love that dude.
He moves in silence, man.
Yo, for real. And y'all remember, like, was it 2 years ago? Not when they took De'Aaron Fox. But before that year, when they took, like, Justin Jackson, Harry Giles, and it was, like, somebody else they took in that draft, that's what really made me start looking at him. Like, I was like, yo, who is that behind the scenes making this move? Yo, he killed that.
I think that was the same draft. That was De'Aaron Fox. The same draft.
Yep.
Same draft.
That was De'Aaron Fox with Harry Giles and Justin Jackson. All of them came out?
Yeah. All three of them, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, that night, man, he killed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was straight robbery that night. So, but yeah, man. Another thing, too, though, like, if we get RJ, I'm all right. Because RJ seemed like he a lock to be a good pro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
I'm not so down on the prospect of RJ Barrett as a lot of people are, man. I see a killer instinct in this kid. I just feel like he's gonna have a good career at the next level, man. Everybody has flaws, man. I can't get too into this guy doesn't do this, he doesn't do this. He's in college. I'm not expecting him to do everything.
Yeah, man. Yo, RJ got an NBA game, straight plain and simple. His game is a straight NBA game. Like he's the new 2 guard in the league. He's better than DeRozan already, like offensively. Got the same problems. You know what I'm saying? Can't shoot. He's gonna be a problem. Yeah.
I like his aggressiveness. I like that he stays aggressive. I get the shot selection. Yo. I get the defensive woes. I get that he doesn't move the ball that much, but I wouldn't be mad at it at the 2 pick.
Yeah, you gotta wonder.
Yeah, man. I would like RJ out there, man. He looked like he got that New York state of mind.
Yeah, man.
Go get it.
Al, what were you saying?
I was gonna say you got to wonder how much of that is coached into him too. Like by Coach K, like the fact that he takes so many shots or whatever. Because even when they have interviews with like Zion Williamson after the game, he's always talking about like, oh, this is RJ's team, blah blah blah. Like maybe that's just coached into him. I don't know. maybe that's why, you know, he plays how he does on that
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of those dudes, though, you give them the green light, they don't always take it, man. If you give him the green light, it look like he gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Another thing too, though, I want everybody to give some love to Coach Fizz, man. When we was on them little couple game winning streaks, and you know what I mean, in a lot of close games, everybody was saying, you know, giving a lot of praise to a lot of different things. You know, Money Mitch, that's my dude. He be rocking. But nobody ain't say nothing about Coach Fizz, how he got them boys running through a wall for him, man. I love that.
That's fair. That's fair, Al. I mean, you know, Fizz is certainly deserves some criticism. But listen, the players, you know, the players play hard for him. The kids love him. You've seen ups and downs. You've seen some ups from a lot of players. Whether it's Vonleh had his moments, Moutier's had his moments, Mitch has had his moments, ISO's had his moments, even Knox has had his moments. So, you know, they seem to be playing hard for him.
Yeah.
Still.
And that's just a tribute to him coming in every day, like, and then believing in what he's doing, like, because it's, yo, man, once you start losing, man, you see a lot of dudes quit, man. I haven't seen none of these young dudes quit yet. And then with the rotations he got set in place, like, I know you talking about it on a previous show, when you out there with, like, Trier, Mitch Robinson, that whole second unit, them boys having fun when they playing together. I love watching them play, man. I don't even care about free agency like that. Like, I love watching this young team play. I want to see where they could go with a couple new pieces.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Al, what's your take on it?
As far as, like,
Fizz
getting a couple more pieces on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, like, the stuff with Fizdale, I think, has been exaggerated maybe a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some of his, like, late game coaching decisions and stuff. Because I think that he's not prioritizing necessarily winning every game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he's definitely, you can see by how he coaches the end of certain games that he doesn't really care who's out there if it's going to result in the win. He just wants to see people in certain situations.
The London game stuck out to me with that. Like, you know, he didn't care. He just left Timmy out there. He left a lot of his weaker defenders out there, and had Mitch and Frank on the bench, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's definitely, like, he shows some bright spots. I think the biggest thing that I like with Fizz so far is that he's great at getting the players to buy in to whatever he's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be valuable if this team has a lot of turnover going into next year and a lot of new faces and stuff. Like, that's going to be a valuable skill, is that he'll be able to get this team together quicker than, you know, most coaches, hopefully.
True indeed.
As far as, like, his play calling and stuff, I mean, there's definitely he's still figuring it out, I think. But you also have to consider, like, I brought this up a number of times, different places over the season, but, like, you got to consider that he's coaching a bunch of kids, you know what I mean? So he's probably trying to keep things pretty simple, you know, for them, and that, I think, results in some, you know, less than inspiring plays sometimes that he draws up after timeouts and stuff. Granted, some of them have just legit been pretty bad, but I think he's even shown some growth in that area throughout the season. So.
And to your point in keeping the offense simple, on our podcast with Macri, he brought up that point about the offense, and he thought that this type of offense was more appreciated to a potential free agent, ball dominant free agent like a Kevin Durant or a Kyrie Irving, who can kind of come in, you know, get those high pick and rolls and kind of create for themselves. But my question to him was, is it that, or is it Fizz just keeping it simple based on the personnel that we have right now? And maybe once a roster stabilizes a little bit, does he get a bit more creative with the offense and you know, emphasize a bit more off-ball movement?
Yeah, I think the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, like it usually is. I think it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's part that it's part that Fizdale's keeping it simple for the kids, you know, and part that also I think he does favor a point guard in particular that can kind of run the game for him. You know, get the points, but also get some assists, you know, get things going. But in a lot of ways, getting things going means scoring the ball. Like, you look at Mike Conley under Fizdale, had, you know, one of his best seasons, and then, you know, a part of another season that was one of his best seasons.
Yeah.
You know, in large part, I think because Fizz is a guy that empowers the point guard position a lot.
Sure.
And uses the point guard as a means to running everything else, which obviously is what you want to do. But with Fizdale more so than other coaches, I think he relies on the point guard to really set the tone.
True,
and the Knicks, and the Knicks for most of this year have not had a point guard that's really far above average. Certainly like average to slightly above average at best on certain nights, and that's about it. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And speaking of point guards, man, I think his confidence in Moutier is pretty evident. I think, people are still asking, how do you still have confidence in Moutier? But I get the feeling that they're really entertaining, Moutier is kind of like a backup plan going forward here, man. What do you think? I don't know. The price tag is kind of pricey, but
I don't know how pricey it's even going to be, if we're being honest. The only way that I think that the price will go up on Moutier is if a team like the Suns or the Magic, something like that, a team that needs a point guard. Well, the Magic don't even need him anymore because now they got Fultz. So
yeah,
there goes another potential Moutier suitor. But, if a team like the Suns use whatever cap space they have, try to make a run at him and, offer him a little above what they think would be willing to pay, that's about the only way I see him getting overpaid. I think realistically what's probably going to happen if the pipe dream is actually going to come true, they're going to have to renounce him.
Right.
Because his cap hold is really, really high as a lottery pick. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it because the way that I look at Moutier, and I wish that the Knicks would, and Fizdale in particular, would seem more like they're looking at it this way, is if you already have Dennis Smith Jr. under contract for another 2 years after this one on a rookie deal, who's basically a better version of what Moutier gives you, then why are you going to bring Moutier back?
Right.
He's not giving you anything that Dennis Smith can't give you, but better. So that's kind of the way I look at him. I hope he's not part of the plan. And I mean that in the best way possible.
I really hope he's not part of the plan.
I feel good for him, for having sort of pulled his career back together this year, and for Fizdale for having sort of fixed him or whatever. But I don't really want him on the team past this year.
Yeah, I think I'm good, man. I think I'm good on that. The last player, when we were talking about player buy-in, DeAndre Jordan. So I guess the buyout period has now passed, and we did not buy out DeAndre Jordan. The media asked him, what his situation was. He said he likes it here. He said he saw no reason to request one, and it seems like he's bought in with Fizz, and he's bought into that mentorship role. So that's kind of interesting. You figured DeAndre Jordan could have basically landed on and played some meaningful basketball in the second season, but it seems like he was content with sticking it out here. Yeah.
Based off his personality, he kind of seems like the anti-Cantor in terms of
every way, man. In every way.
He's a few years older, obviously, so there's that to consider, and he's made a lot more money in his career and stuff like that. So he's not so much playing for his next contract.
Yeah.
But I think that Jordan probably understands that, it's not like if he got traded somewhere, if he got bought out or whatever, that he's losing bird rights or something. So that didn't worry him first off. So he was like, whatever, I'll just stick it out here. And then secondly, I think he knows teams have the book on him. If someone wants to sign him to a big money deal this offseason, they're gonna. There's nothing holding them back.
Right.
You know what I mean? They already know exactly what he could bring to the team. And in the meantime, I think maybe he's kind of enjoying maybe just for once having a zero pressure situation where he can just kind of mentor, a young player and help some guys out. It seems like he likes Fizdale in the locker room and stuff. So, I mean, it was nice to see. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad he didn't get bought out and re-signed somewhere else, because I actually really like him. And
yeah, I like him.
As we've already said, and as some of the callers have already said, I mean, his impact on Mitch Robinson is pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, if he's willing to take about 5 times less than what he's making right now.
Yeah, certainly.
Come on back.
I mean, you got to consider this is, again, this is reaching and starting to look at things that aren't, materializing yet. But he's really good friends with Kevin Durant. So maybe he just wants to stick around here and, and then eventually sign a deal in the offseason.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's not like the Knicks are going to be able to offer him like more money based off of, having rights or anything to him.
That's right.
So he's going to have to take a fairly significant pay cut, but maybe he wants to ride it out here and just kind of be the first guy to welcome Durant in with open arms. I don't know.
True indeed, man. But yeah, DeAndre has definitely been a good presence here so far, no doubt about it. Before we get back to the phones, once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. This is Knicks Post Game Live, #1 post game show on YouTube for the fans, by the fans. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. I'm vastly approaching 10,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button below. Some of you guys watch every day and still haven't hit that subscribe button. You maybe don't know how. Just hit subscribe. If you know any Knicks fans, you share these videos. This is the best way to promote the channel. That's why I always ask you to hit that thumbs up. I always ask you to subscribe and I always ask you to share, because clearly the more people we get in here, the more we get on the phones, the better the show is. It's all about the fan opinion and what you guys have to say. But also, for those of you in the tri-state area, on Friday, March 15th, that's in 2 weeks. Yeah, we just got paid, so yeah, next payday, 2 weeks. Easy to get to that calendar date. We're doing another watch party 2.0. With me, yours truly, Alex Wolf, the Knicks Film School, Hard Knicks Life. Jay Ellis will be there, Nick of Time Show. The Locked On Knicks people will be there. Gotham Sports Network doing another watch party for Knicks Spurs at John Sullivan's in New York City, 210 West 35th Street. Free to get in. Proceeds will go to the Garden of Dreams Foundation. I think we gave we gave him a check for about $700 last time out.
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been over 800.
Okay,
it was pretty solid. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Also, I should note, everybody should bring cash.
Bring cash. Yeah.
They're doing $8 cash drinks, and I think any cash drink sales are going to go towards the charity donation. So, and it's like 25% of all drinks, and they're doing like $8 beer, wine, and well drinks.
Okay.
So they're going to give $2 for every $8 drink sold to Garden of Dreams.
Okay.
And we're still waiting on official confirmation, but we might have some raffles and stuff too. So definitely good to have cash for that.
All right. Cool, man. Yeah, definitely. If you guys didn't come to the last one, definitely come through. It was a real good time. We actually got the W. That was a Dallas game when Mitch and ISO went off. And, yeah, that was a good time. So I see people in the chat already confirming their attendance. So shout out to those guys. All right, let's wrap up on the phones. We got a couple more phone calls in. We'll skip the player ratings today, Al. We lost by damn near 30. Mitch did well. We like Mitch. Those are your player ratings for tonight, man. Jaleel from Long Island, he's on. He wants to talk about what we do if we strike out in free agency and the lottery. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Chilling.
All right. I had a quick question for you. Because, like, as everybody else, I've been a lifelong Knicks fan, and we always lose. Like, in free agency, in the season, we just always lose. So my thing is, like, if we're already used to losing, what happens if we don't get Kevin Durant and we get, say, the third pick and we get a R.J. Barrett or a Cam or a Ja Morant? What happens? Are we cool with, like, re-signing a DeAndre Jordan and then just letting Mitch and all those guys just build? We might have superstars. Like, we might not have to get a Kevin Durant because we might have superstars. Kevin Knox might turn into a Kevin Durant. DSJ might become, who knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys might get better, so who knows? Maybe not Kevin Knox being a Kevin Durant, but you know what I'm saying? He might become a good 20-7 small forward, you know what I'm saying? So what happens if we have that? We don't need to sign a Kevin Durant, and we did it naturally like Golden State. Nobody thought Golden State had what they had till they had it, and they got a ring.
Al, what's your backup plan, man?
So I think you go one of two routes, or maybe a combo of both. If you strike out on the big free agents, obviously that's the plan. You know, chase these big free agents, see if you can sign, you know, some of the best players in the league, Durant, whatever. If you don't do that, you're one of the teams with the most cap space in the whole league going into the offseason, and maybe the most. I think it's the most, and like the Clippers, if they unload Gallinari, would have almost the same or whatever. But yeah, my idea for a backup plan would be one, using that cap space to take on some big 1-year deals that are in their last year, such as a Gallinari or something like that, to help other teams create space. If you know for sure that no other players are coming to your team, use your cap space and collect more assets that way, be it a young player or two or some draft picks or whatever you can get. Just rent out that cap space for a year. And then the way that I would fill out the roster is do kind of not that the results are great right now because of how they've been handling things recently with, dealing with their young players and stuff. But you do the Lakers model, I think, then after that. You sign a bunch of veterans to above market value 1-year deals and bring them on just for a year. Yeah. So sign guys, that might normally command a contract of like 2 years for $20 million or whatever. Sign them to like a 1-year, like $14 million contract, and it just roll with them for 1 year, that kind of thing. And then make sure that cap space can still be open in the next year, the years afterwards. And, I think that's going to be the way to go and the way that the Knicks should look to do it if they're not able to secure those big free agents that they want.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think my backup plan would be just stay patient. Stay patient. Keep the money. Don't burn it on a Chris Middleton or, Vucevic, even though he killed us the other night. But I wouldn't – those aren't the type of guys I want to sink max money into. Not even Tobias. I love Tobias, homegrown kid. I wouldn't do that. Keep the money. Like Alex said, you can use the cap space as a weapon to absorb bad contracts with the benefit of taking on additional picks. That's how you win this asset allocation, asset acquisition game, like how Danny Ainge plays it. That's how you win that. Look at what the Nets did on how the Nets rebuilt their team. Bum-ass Nets and all. That's what they did. They didn't have the flexibility of drafting players, so they had the cap space, they took that on. And again, agreeing with you, Al, signing some veterans. Like I said, if DeAndre comes for $5 million, you bring in DeAndre. If we don't get a Kyrie Irving or, even a Kemba, if you want to say Kemba, get a veteran point guard in here. Not one that, you want to be in competition with these guys, but one that can teach. One that can teach. The callers made a point earlier about getting Knox. Maybe get a veteran for Knox, a veteran swingman. So, those type of moves when you bring in some vets that know how to win and fortify that with the draft picks, that could turn into some good things for us, even if we don't, get those 2 max free agents.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are, exactly what you said. You don't want to get guys that are going to be thinking, you don't want to get the Cantors of the world that are going to be, veterans that are in here thinking that the playing time is meant for them.
Right.
But the brilliant thing of the whole thing, like if you strike out in free agency, is that you still have all that space. So like a guy like DeAndre, then you wouldn't have to be like, oh, like DJ, you have to take like $5 million for a year or whatever. Then you could be like, all right, well now nobody else is coming, and we got all this extra cap space laying around, so we'll give you a big fat deal for this year, and then we'll have some actual like bird rights on you for next year.
Right.
So you could spend like $15 million for one season on DeAndre Jordan or something like that. Do basically what the Mavs did with him prior to trading him to the Knicks. So, and that's obviously something that he's good with, I guess, because he did it with the Mavs too, and the Mavs didn't really look like they were gonna make the playoffs or anything this year. So, that's kind of how I'd handle it. Just be smart. Don't give out any long-term contracts unless the player's absolutely worth it. Like unless you're talking about a top 20 player, even top 10, 15, whatever. Make sure that they're guys that, if paired together or whatever, are going to be able to actually put your team over the hump. Rather than just, stranding yourself as like a 5 seed, or something like that. Because we've been there before. That's not the best existence in the whole world.
Not at all, man. Not at all. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. Omar, what's going on? Omar says most likely we're getting at least one top free agent, so Omar's confident there. 7:30, Teresa says, in Ninja P we trust. I'm with him on that one. That might have to be the next shirt. In Ninja P we trust. Shout out Scott Perry. Yeah, man. All right, let's go back to the phones. Who's Mark from the chat wants to chime in on the Kevin Knox talk? Mark, what's good, bro?
So what's good, Knicks fan?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm all right, man. Yo, I'm going to be there at the bar when time comes.
Yeah, come through, man. March 15th, man. Definitely. Everybody's welcome, man.
I'm going to come through.
Okay.
So, listen, I don't want to come down on Knox, but I've seen this coming with his motor. And I've seen it since college, and it's bad. Like, it's a bad trait to have as a young player. Because it's going to be very, very hard to instill him to be active. Because in college he wasn't much of an active player. If he didn't really get the ball, or if he didn't play in pace, he would just he reminds me of Andrew Wiggins, and I'm afraid of that. I'm highly afraid of that because someone so talented, even if he don't get the ball, he should be able to rebound, cut, set screens. He does neither. If the Knicks aren't playing with a certain amount of pace, you won't see him. He will take bad shots. And then it's like he's like a deer in headlights when he has the ball. He doesn't have much of a passing ability. I just don't like that kid's motor. And if you don't have a motor coming into the NBA, you will get lost very fast. And I understand, I have to deal with it now because he's on our team and everything. But that thing scares me alone. And please, Knicks fans, don't compare him to Kevin Durant. That's really, really disrespectful. He's not in Kevin Durant's boat. Not from college. No, there's nothing about him that smells Kevin Durant. That's a false. The most he'll be, the best he will be a high quality. He could be a starter, a high quality starter that could shoot the ball because he does have a shooting touch. It's more about with him. If we had someone that necessarily draws double team all the time, that we really don't, he'd probably get better shots. So he takes a lot of forced shots due to the fact that we don't have anybody that really bends the defense enough for him to get wide open shot. That's why when he gets the ball, he takes the shot quicker than anything. He has to be able to set his feet. Once he don't set his feet, it's a bad shot. You can see it every time.
Like Timmy.
Every time.
Like Tim Hardaway used to do.
Yeah, you can see it every time. Watch his feet. But he could be a good shooter. Once he's set with his feet, he could be a good shooter. That's one thing that said, okay, I could deal with him because before the draft, I would have took Shane. I'd have took Shane off the Clippers. I'd have took him.
I'd
have took Trae Young or Wendell Carter. Those was my picks before Knox because I didn't like the motor. And he's having a big problem with that motor. He's having a huge problem with that motor, and that's hard to fix in a human being. Sorry.
I hope you're wrong, man.
It's very hard.
But yeah, hopefully he's not.
He's raw. He's raw, but
yeah.
The thing is, I don't like that he fades away like that when he doesn't get the ball, if he doesn't score. He has to learn to say, okay, if I don't get the ball 5 plays down, let me disrupt the offense on defense because he's long enough. He can rebound. He's capable.
Yeah.
But the motor adds on to that. Now, if he had a motor, he would be doing it a little more, but he doesn't have it. He lacks, and that's a bad trait to have when you're playing basketball.
Now where you at on the draft, man? What's your take on the draft so far in the non-Zion?
This is what I wanted to talk about because the guy I forgot the guy's name who you on the air with.
Alex.
Everybody's talking about RJ. Which for me, he reminds me of left-hand DeMar DeRozan, but more of a ball hogger. People say he has a little bit of playmaking skills, a little bit, but he's more of give me the ball and get the hell out my way. That's the type of player he is. And if we would have drafted him, he wouldn't be good for the Knicks because we're going to need a guard that's able to share the ball with the players that we have. So we get them open shots and better shots. We can't have another ball handler that's hogging the ball. That's why my theory with Cam Reddish, the way he's looking, is because he's been put into a certain role because he could shoot it better than RJ. If RJ doesn't have the ball, what else does he do well? What else does he do without the ball?
Yeah, you were definitely a Cam Reddish guy from earlier this season.
Huh?
I said you were definitely a Cam Reddish guy from earlier this season, for sure.
To me, I think he has a better skill set, but he's not going to be able to show it because he's playing with RJ, and RJ needs the ball to be effective. That's why they give him the ball more. And Zion can play off the ball. That's what makes them good, because Zion and Cam can play off the ball because they cut, they shoot, and they do other things. They have great tangibles. I'm not a big RJ guy. For me, it's either if I can't get Zion, I probably would trade up in the draft. And you know who I would trade for? I would talk to the Hawks, because RJ would be a great fit for Atlanta because they're going to need a guy that say, get the hell out my way.
Okay.
I think he'll be a perfect fit there.
Appreciate the call, Mark. That's Mark Wayne. And Mark needs his own show, man. He's long-winded, man, but he comes with a passion. He brings it, man. That's I rock with Mark, man. I definitely rock with Mark. You know. Billy Bat in the chat said you asked him a question. That was a big mistake. Yeah, I want to hear what he had to say. I want to hear what Mark has to say, man. You know, he definitely comes with a lot of points. But yeah, his prospect has been Cam Reddish from the beginning. But I don't know, Cam is an enigma just because you don't really know. You know, is Zion and RJ kind of stymieing him? He had a couple good games this season, but by and large, he's been up and down. He's been kind of inconsistent this season. Yeah, people got some of those same concerns with Cam about the motor as they did with Knox. Exactly. So I'm kind of surprised to hear he's so high on him. To be totally yeah, that is surprising, right? That is surprising. Yeah. But I think what he's saying is, and Spencer mentioned it too. Spencer thought that he could be the most talented of the three, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together. Yeah, I mean, of course he probably could be, but yeah, I don't know with Cam. Like the biggest thing is, you know, I don't think he's necessarily been cast in the best role for him. Like I think he needs the ball in his hands a little more. From what I understand, and he's just kind of been looked on as like basically a spot up shooter, right? Like a 3-and-D type guy on Duke. I don't think that's necessarily the best thing for him, but yeah, I don't know. That's like my amateur analysis on him. Like I said, like we were talking about before, I put some time into the college guys so far, but not nearly as much as I want to. Yeah. And Cam's one of those guys I definitely feel like I have to sit and like micro analyze everything, because take everything at face value with him, he looks pretty bad, but like if you could dig into it and really figure out like what he's doing well and what he's not, I think he's probably a better prospect than what people give him credit for. Yeah. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. But like I said, we had Spencer on our draft prospect show last week. If you guys missed the show, definitely check it out in the menu at the top hand right. And we'll have Spencer on later on after the lottery. We'll be breaking it down probably after the tournament as well, because, you know, stocks rise and fall after the tournament. We'll get Schwinney on. We definitely got to get Schwinney on. For his perspective as well. We'll get your bleep button. Yeah, we'll get the profanity button close by. You know, when Schwinney sounds off. But yeah, man, good stuff. All right, last call of the night. I got to eat dinner and watch some Netflix tonight. Joe from North Carolina. He wants to talk about the draft and the free agents. Joe, how you feeling, bro?
Good. What's up, fellas?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah. Good. I just wanted to real quick get in. The whole plan that the Knicks seem to have, right, hinges on getting KD for the most part. I mean, there's other free agents, but I think he's the prize that they want to get. Yeah. A guy like KD, if he comes here, he's going to want essentially to build his own team. He's going to more or less be carrying the same weight that LeBron carried to the Lakers. So now, if you put 31-year-old KD, and let's say he does convince Kyrie to come on board, these guys might just say, hey, man, we're not going to play with these kids. Look, it already happened with the Lakers. You know, we're not going to get anywhere with a supporting crew that's 20 years old, 21 years old. So he himself could blow up the entire team, including Mitch. So that's why I'm a little leery of this whole thing, because, like, if they would have kept KP, you know, all the noise aside of what he wanted to do, what he didn't want to do, next year Hardaway would have been off the cap and the other guys would have been off the cap. So they would have had a bona fide young star if he was healthy, and you could still build around him. So I just wanted to know what you guys thought about that. Like, bringing in a guy like that, his Durant caliber guy, he's going to have a ton of control and personnel decision influence. And is that necessarily a good thing? Because the way it's playing out with the Lakers, with LeBron, who's arguably a little bit better than KD, it doesn't seem to be working out all that well. So that was my point, and then you guys can go eat and have dinner.
there you go, Joe. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the support. I mean, Ali has a fair point, man. He has a fair point. How do you see that, potentially playing out?
Yeah, I'm definitely. It's not lost on me. It's definitely a something that I could see potentially playing out. Because a guy like Durant. Although the way that he's been talking lately, it's easing my mind a little bit, and I feel like he's kind of setting up the world for Durant that doesn't necessarily think that championship or bust is the only option. Because,
if he's about to win his third, he's probably like,
he's like,
now let me be a businessman in New York.
Yeah, which is kind of what LeBron was doing. But you know what? Everybody thought LeBron would be patient too, and then now look at him, and he's like Mr. Patient now.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what to make of it. Like, I definitely think there's a chance that Durant coming here could kind of derail things if it goes the wrong way. But then there's also the point to consider of like if another free agent comes with him, let's say it's Kyrie, and the dream scenario happens, then you have Durant and you have Kyrie already, and already there you're way ahead of the game compared to what LeBron was able to,
But do you see the windows? Because I continue to say that the windows aren't really aligned with the young core that we have, and then bringing in two max players.
I hope, I guess would be the way to put it. I don't know what necessarily to think definitively, but I hope that the Knicks front office would look to strike some sort of balance there, because I actually don't think there's anything wrong with trading a couple of the young players in order to bolster up and make a run for a championship or something, if that's something you really think you can do. But I think there's a good balance to be struck there. Like, you don't want to give up every single young player on the roster.
Exactly.
Because you have to leave yourself some future flexibility. Now, thankfully, also, they still have all their own draft picks going forward and a couple of Dallas draft picks going forward too.
Right.
So that helps things along too. Like, that over the next, whatever it is, 6 years or whatever, or 5 years, whenever that last pick conveys, they're going to have draft assets that whole time.
Yeah.
So that's good to know too. So if you trade some young players for a more established player now, you're not necessarily killing yourself later on.
Right. You're not completely emptying the bank.
Yeah, and you don't even necessarily have to go after someone like Anthony Davis, who's like cream of the crop. If you already have a Durant and an Irving or something like that, then maybe you just trade some of these guys for like a not quite a tertiary star.
I was saying Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
I was saying Bradley Beal.
I've brought up his name already too. Obviously Washington's not going to have too much to play for the next year and change.
Yeah,
Wall gets healed up, so they might want to take on a couple young players just to try and kind of bolster their team a little bit. Which with how capped out they are going to have very limited options over the next couple of years. So yeah, that could be someone to go after.
There's just so much at stake here, man. So much that can change things. What is KD's motivation if he does want to come here? What would his motivation want to be to come here? If he did come here, is he trying to bring a second guy out? You would think so, right? A Kyrie. Then you're looking at Kyrie's situation in Boston. Every day, every loss, it just gets more murky. That whole situation there. And, Boston's trying to get in the AD sweepstakes. Do they try to trade for AD and then sign Kyrie? I mean, AD and Kyrie can almost shape this whole offseason together. So I don't know, man. But we'll have a lot of time to talk about it. We talk about it every day since the team is 13 and 50. But, yeah, man. As the world turns, Knicks edition, man. You know what I'm saying now?
Every day. It's just a new adventure.
Absolutely, man. So on that note, let's close it out. Al, you know the deal, man. Promote your shows. Tell them where you've been and where they can find you at.
So you can find me on Posting and Toasting, SB Nation's Knicks blog. That's postingandtoasting.com, at PT Knicks blog. On Twitter, you can find me on Locked On Knicks, Daily New York Knicks podcast. That's at Locked On Knicks on Twitter. We're on all the various services, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. And if you feel like just listening to me personally, you can find me on Twitter at the Alex Wolf with an E.
There you go, man. There you go. He says that's it. That's it. As he broadcasts the whole resume, man. But nah, great show, Al, and thanks again for joining us, man. And to all you guys that joined us too, man. We had almost 300 people in the chat on this Knicks 128-107 loss to the LA Clippers. Replay of the show is in audio format, as you just saw. Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and Alexa. If you have an Alexa, just say Alexa, play Knicks Fan TV, and you'll hear the latest upload of the show in podcast format. Speaking of podcasts, check out the podcast that we did with Jonathan Macri this morning. I put it up in the show notes at the top hand right of the screen. Had a good conversation, me, myself, and Jonathan Macri, just touching on the season and having a couple laughs as well. So you guys will definitely enjoy it. The draft episode, the replay of the draft episode with Spencer as well, is up in the show menu. Merch, you guys want the merch? The Mitch Please t-shirts. Just made a new one for number 14. You know who he is. Hit the link in the video description to the merch. Got a lot of nice hoodies and t-shirts for you guys. Next guest next Saturday is gonna be Tommy Beer from Forbes magazine. He's gonna be joining us, probably breaking down some crazy random stat that you hadn't heard before, Al. So shout out Tommy Beer, and yeah, man, that's the story. I'll check you guys on the replay. The replay of this show should start up at about 10 p.m. and run throughout the night. So thanks again, everybody, for coming through. Thanks for everybody for calling. And we'll see you guys Wednesday, man. Knicks versus Kings post-game show. CP and Jay Ellis. Al, thanks again, man. Enjoy a productive week, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. Yeah, just call me on. I wish there was more Sunday games so I could be here more.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? We need more matinees so I can bring back my tradition here.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, we'll definitely catch up again, and I'll check you guys, man.